Welcome to Tech Talk Radio. I'm your host, Matt Jones. I'm not dead.
I'm Shawn DeWeird.
I'm Justin Lemmy.
And I'm Andy Taylor. Good to see that you are not dead, Matt. It's been a while. How long has it been since you've been on the show?
Yeah, it's been months.
Yeah, people miss you. They say, "Where's that guy, Matt?" They call in all the time. They don't call when I'm out sick. They call, "Where's Matt?"
Yeah, they don't give us a crap about us.
Yeah.
It's because I'm so pretty.
Well, now they can see you in better quality with Riverside FM. So there you go. We're all getting a chance to test this out today. Shawn, I liked what we did last week with it, and it came out pretty good. Very easy to use. So far,
And
I'm like,
the first comment was, "Hey, the video quality's better." So I mean, even if the layman is looking at it and going, "The quality's better," I mean,
Yeah.
I know that YouTube and those other places they can really muck up the algorithm and the compression and stuff, but it looked really good. You sent me the link to it, and I immediately noticed a difference from what we had been uploading with Zoom. And I know that Zoom was keeping us at like 640 by 320 or something stupid.
yeah.
And this is great because I've got the $3,500 camera right here that's running 4K, so I'm going to look beautiful.
Yeah, that's the thing. So we're on kind of the testing plan for it. Was that a maybe not so beautiful?
Cameras
Matt,
can
watch your
only do
mouth.
so much.
Well, watch your mouth, Matt.
But we're using the kind of a test run for it. Next week we may even go with the actual 4K version to see where it's this. The problem is I paid for a Zoom subscription for a year. It's not up until February. So it'd be like I'm going to have to find some other purpose for it because Zoom is just not delivering. And when I asked them, I said, "Wait, we all have HD. Why can't we, get it in at least 720p?" And they said to do that, it's about $2,000 a year.
Just straight up tell them you're going to quit. Just straight up say, "I'm moving to a different platform that's cheaper because your product sucks."
Yep.
Yeah, it's just.
I mean,
it's
that's
just
what
a
you have to.
total
You have to tell
letdown.
them that.
Yep. And the thing, one of the other reasons I do like Zoom, and I will give it to Zoom, is their AI transcription. So afterwards, I could go back and read what we said about in the show, and it's actually put together in a synopsis using AI, and I do like it. I don't do it word for word, but I go through it and I use it kind of as a template, a footprint that gives me the ability to edit. Well, it turns out Riverside does this as well.
Nice.
And it does the clips. So again, I'm really happy so far with what I've seen. We'll see what we get as far as the actual with all of us and how it ends up looking. So yeah, let us know what you, the viewer, think about this. So that's good. But I know. So Matt, the reason you've been out is work.
Yeah, work has been a lot. Learning a lot very quickly. I really am enjoying it. I like my new coworkers. I love my new shop. I am having a great time. It has just been thoroughly kicking my keister. And it's good. I'm learning a lot there. I'm learning a lot with stuff I'm doing on my home lab. I'm in a happy place.
That's good. Well, it's good. And I know, Justin, you were out last week because it's just been kind of nonstop for you. Is you gearing up for a new season or the wind down? Is that what finds you busy?
Well, I mean, I'm gearing up for back to school. Kids going back to school. We're having to do a lot of last little day camp things, and then there's obviously days where I have to watch them the entire day. And having an 8-year-old kid running around, it's he demands attention all the time unless you're put him in front of a screen. So it's a challenge for that. But and work side, I'm just trying to wind down the season. We're getting close to the end of the season here, and things are busy. We're off season is kind of where we get busy with an IT. During the season, you can't really do much. It's pretty much break fix. But when we get to the off season, when we're not in operation mode, that's kind of when we get busy. So just gearing up for that.
I'm kind of wondering, because you're doing IT for different groups within an organization. And of course, one of the big things that we're talking about now, we're what, 2 months away now from Windows 10 end of life. Have you getting questions from some of your user base Are they saying, what do I do? Is my stuff still going to work? Is there a misconception that suddenly their computers won't work anymore? Or are you making sure everybody's updated?
Well, for the most part, we're completely updated. I mean, there's a few computers that we have to rely on that are Windows 10, but we've paid for the extended support. So we have, I believe, until 2027 before we have to really start thinking about what we're going to do here. But no, for the most part, we're on Windows 11 now. There's a lot of people out there that are still running Windows 10. In fact, there was that article I read about the guy from California suing Microsoft, saying that it's unfairly moving people to Windows 11. I think his argument was trying to prepare people for the AI model, and not really saying that Windows 10 is not a good operating system. He's saying it's a fine operating system, but you're just trying to want to push everybody to Windows 11 so you can run your AI models and stuff. So I don't know. That's going to be an interesting one to follow to see if that goes anywhere. But in terms of my world, we're pretty much on Windows 11.
Did anybody think it was strange, though, that when Microsoft came out and made the announcement that, oh, well, we're going to find different routes for those that are still using Windows 10 and are not able, because not everybody can update. It's not a choice for many people. It's just you can't. Mm-hmm. You don't have the equipment. You don't have the TPM 2.0. You don't have a suitable processor. It's just not the right situation for you to be able to update. And then they came out and said, well, we're going to make it so that we can push security updates so they still can do it. But push security updates, not feature updates, but security updates, if you allow us to use OneDrive and you connect with a Microsoft account. Now, if you're like, I know most of us, I would think, that use a local account, suddenly now you're going to have to use a Microsoft account with OneDrive to be able to get that. Or you could pay around $30 and get the support for a year with the security updates. Is it make you feel like, wait a minute, so you can help us? You can give us what we've paid for?
Absolutely.
I think that's what the guy with the lawsuit is claiming. He's like, you are fully able to keep providing support for Windows 10. You don't want to provide support for Windows 10. So I think that's where this guy's lawsuit lies.
I'm also remembering, like, back in the day when they were doing the initial press junkets for Windows 10, they were like, we are moving on from Windows 8.1, and there was much rejoicing. They're like, we're going to go to Windows 10, and I remember them being like, this is the last operating system from Microsoft you will have to buy, because we're just going to keep pushing feature updates and security updates and building it that way. We're not going to go past Windows 10. Fast forward to a few years later, they're like, introducing Windows 11, and everyone's like, wait a minute, you told us we didn't have to do this anymore. Like, this is not a feature update. This is a whole new operating system. So was all of that just crap?
Well, now Windows, if we think about it, Windows 11 has been around for how long? Like, was it 4 years ago that when it came out, that it was actually launched, 11? So, I mean, we've had all this time, and 10 has worked fine. 11 has worked fine. So why are they forcing this on the people? If they can do security updates for a year, they can definitely give it to everybody, and without them having to pay the $30. So is it corporate greed that's going to be a part of it, especially for companies? Because we talk about that $30 for a company. That's $30 per seat if they want to do that. We're in a situation where we have computers that run specific software, specific equipment. They're not saying a word. They haven't said anything about Windows 11 and what's going to be happening past October. Now, some people are saying, well, why are you guys even talking about it? Does it really matter then? It does from a security standpoint, because we still would hope that we'd have these security features that you'd be able to update. Well, somebody asked me, is this something that Malwarebytes could do? Could it? Did Matt fall asleep, or did his camera lock up?
I think he froze again. He's back. He froze again.
He froze. I looked at Matt's camera, and I'm like, his eyes are closed. I think he fell asleep.
We are all tired, so it wouldn't surprise me.
Maybe our listeners are doing the same.
I don't know. Honestly, like, it froze for a sec, and I immediately checked, like, all my bandwidth is fine. There's no overhead. I can log into all my networking gear, and it was like, everything's fine. It was just for a second, Riverside FM was just like, no.
I don't think it's... Yep, and he's gone.
And he's gone. He'll come back in a second. All right, now we didn't get a. What the heck is it doing to him? All right, so Shawn, what about you? We didn't get a chance to hear from you. Like, what have you been working on?
If you want to ask about Windows 10, so we were told. Yep. So the university has a very strict policy on when official support ends, you cannot have a device that's running that operating system on campus.
Oh wow! All right.
So they will. I'm not joking when I say they will come to your office, knock on your door, and say, "Where is this device plugged into this switch, plugged into that port?" It's running Windows 10. That's what they're doing right now. They're auditing us right now. We have somebody from IT that's here in our office auditing our entire network stack and checking every computer to make sure it's got Windows 11 or the most up-to-date version of whatever Linux version we're running, whatever version of Mac OS we're running. Like, if it can't run the most recent version of Mac OS that's been verified or vetted by the university, it's gone. It's got to go.
Well, now,
it's pretty wild.
So my question before we had Matt fall asleep, the question was, could a third-party program like Malwarebytes, ESET, or any of those programs help provide that layer of security that Microsoft says, well, you'll lose if you don't update to Windows 11?
For a layman?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, sure. I mean, you have people still running XP. You still have people running 7.
No, I don't know about. I mean, XP. Yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah,
there's still people run. I mean, there are still people running it. Don't know any better.
I have seen countless YouTube videos of somebody who fires up a VM running Windows XP, and as soon as they enable that network adapter, within like 30 seconds, they've got like 15 pieces of malware, viruses, just simply being connected to the internet. Like, they don't even go on browse anything. So I highly doubt anyone's actually running XP.
Well,
on the internet.
We were running. Yeah, that's a good point, though. And here's something else, too. If you run Windows 10 and you're not connecting to the internet, it's just to do something within your network that's not connected to the internet, you really don't have to worry about it at that point. You're going to lose. You're not going to get some feature updates, but at that point, it's not going to be too much of a security risk. We had Windows XP here at the radio station up until 3 years ago for doing our music and playing our automation. It was a system that Google actually had bought. Scott Studios became Google, and then, of course, that's what did it. And it just was not connected to the internet. It was connected networking from the studio to the production room, and that was about it. So we really didn't have to worry about it. I'll tell you, making the update to Windows 10 was kind of sweet. It was nice. Just a little better. We're still not connected to the internet. They're just connected within the network, and that's it. So, I just wonder how many people are fearful that Windows is going away. I did a TV segment on Monday about this, and there's a lot of people that are really frightened about that. But with these two options, it still makes you wonder, what the heck is going on? Hey, couldn't they just give that to you anyways?
For a price, I guess. I don't know.
I kind of wonder too about third-party companies that they don't make the software anymore. Somebody was using Windows 10, and they want to start using Windows 11, and they can't update it, and now they're not going to be able to use that third-party software. I ran into that with Creative Suite 5.5. I couldn't get it activated anymore. So one suggestion was disconnect from the net. Just install it, disconnect from the net, and you'll be fine. But I'm like, well, why do I want to do that?
Yeah. Well, speaking of just internet in general, I mean, running an old operating system on the internet is just definitely not something that you should be doing.
Definitely not.
Yeah. No, like I said, XP or whatever. You want to keep yourself updated as best as you possibly can. I do know people out there are still running Windows 7, and I guess Windows 7 still gets, it doesn't really get any, feature updates. It might get a few security updates or anything, but it's just going to go the way of XP, So I don't know. I would just say, look, we talked about it a couple weeks ago. If you're concerned about having to constantly buy a new operating system over and over and over, do what we talked about a couple weeks ago. Run Linux.
Yeah. And Linux is getting so much more exposure now. There's more people writing about it, more people talking about it, more people testing it out, showing, the different. And we have told people, Shawn, you mentioned this last week on the show. If they have an old computer, what should they do?
Put Linux on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you have an older computer, some older with a little bit of extra effort. Most older Macs can also run Linux. I mean, they're all just running Intel processors, anyways. You just Linux Mint.
Mm-hmm.
It's super easy. There are tons and tons of guides online to just here's how you install it. You can be up and running in a short period of time, faster than you can with Windows. So I highly recommend if you're at least technologically curious about not running Windows, Linux Mint, Rufus, and you're off and running.
Now, Shawn, you're kind of you're the Mac guy out of the group. I think, I don't know, Justin, you're not a Mac guy, right? No. So I'm just wondering, Shawn, do you think this will cause some people to say, I'm going to go ahead and try Mac?
Oh, 100%. So I have a coworker who just said, I'm done with Windows. I'm done. And he just jumped onto the Mac ship. And loved how the M4 chips worked. It supports everything we need to do. We mostly have Macs at work, so he was kind of getting introduced to it there too. But he either runs Linux or runs Mac. He just kind of got fed up with Windows 11, the bloat, the ads, the complications of what I think the Copilot stuff, and then the recall portion of it kind of triggered him in terms of his vantage point on privacy and security. So I think he just kind of got spooked by that.
Oh yeah, Apple's so much better.
Is recall still a thing, though? I mean, is that to me? It was like everybody's talking about it, and then it was like,
I think they recalled recall.
I know you could turn it off.
Can you?
I don't know, but
Yeah.
Linux. I mean, if you don't like Windows, I mean, it is what it is. If you're used to it, it's people are going to use it no matter what. You're not going to convince people. You're not going to convince the masses to give it up for privacy, because your privacy is on every device you own, and everybody just signs the TOS and just I don't care what you do with my data.
This is the part where we really needed Matt back in the conversation right here, because he recently just went through the whole process of just getting rid of big tech from his house. I mean, he talked a little bit about in pre-show, getting rid of all of his Google speakers, his Amazon Alexas, his Nest doorbell, all that stuff, because they're just, it doesn't matter. Even if he was telling me privately, he was like, we turned off the microphones on our speakers, and we would be having conversations, and yet we'd still get ads based on that, even though the microphones were turned off, quote unquote, air quotes there, turned off.
Now, some listeners may not know what you're talking about, because some of this technology that we bring into our homes, and we think it's cool to be able to ask a device to play a song for us or set a timer. I every night I mentioned the other day, I set mine to wake up to a certain song or a certain artist every morning at 4:50 in the morning. And I looked at Gloria and I said, man, to think we used to do this with an alarm clock, or that old AM FM radio, Clay. You remember those things? Now you just do it with your voice. But some people don't understand that stuff that they are talking about. Suddenly they get ads on their Google accounts or while they're browsing that were stuff that they were talking about. You saw this firsthand, Justin.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I'll reiterate what happened a long time ago. I just kind of tested it. I walked around the house, and we had Amazon Echo, the Alexa, right? And we had a couple Google speakers. And I'd walk around the house, and I would just casually mention the words Lamborghini, Ferrari, Porsche, just randomly. I wasn't talking about them. I would just say the name Lamborghini, Ferrari, Porsche, over and over and over for about 3 days. And then all of a sudden, all my social media accounts, Reddit and Facebook and whatever, my Google ads, all of them were for luxury vehicles.
Wow.
And I was
like,
oh.
Just this past weekend, we went to Gen Con in Indianapolis, which is gaming, tabletop dice. Literally all of Caitlin's social media is now dice and board games.
Yeah.
All of her ads are for dice. Here's where you can
that's
dice.
because they track you on your phone.
Well, yeah, I know. I'm just saying
Yeah.
it's the simple. It's all based on geo-tracking. It's all based on what you've searched for. It's all based on what what you like on your friends' profiles. It's all tracked and accumulated and algorithmed and.
Again, it goes back to the old adage: if you're not paying for the product, you are the product. Google and Amazon. Well, Amazon is a retailer, but for the most part, Amazon and Google are advertising data scraping companies. That's how they make their money. They sell your data. That's how they get their money. So having these cute little speakers in your home that you can, oh, look at this, I can play a Spotify song. Sure, yeah, you can, but you're also giving them every piece of your data and everything that's going on, in your life. It's a funny story. And this has, I know we're talking about them tracking you. This has nothing to do with them tracking you because you're going to get it when I mention this, but it's not in relation to this. But my little speaker, I have a Google speaker next to our bed, and I always play relaxing like creek sounds or thunderstorm sounds at night.
Oh, I love those. Yeah.
And so I'll tell it, hey, play, thunderstorm sounds for 12 hours, and it'll just on repeat. It'll just keep playing like thunderstorm sounds. And a few nights ago, I don't know why, but I think it was 2:30 in the morning, all of a sudden the thunderstorm stopped. The thunderstorm sounds stopped, and it was like, "Attention, men, do you have ED?" And I was like, "Oh my God, what?" In the middle of the night, it decided to play an ad. It had never done that before.
Really?
In the middle of the night, it was like, "Attention, men, do you have ED? Come to our clinic." And I'm like, what?
I've noticed. Have you noticed that also? Okay, so here's the other thing. We talk about our devices. One of the devices we have in our homes that it becomes the cornerstone for entertainment. I'm not talking about your tablet, your desktop, your notebook, your television. Your television is talking to those advertisers.
Yeah. I use Pi-hole, the Raspberry Pi.
Does that block some of that?
Absolutely.
TV stuff?
It blocks every time my Samsung or LG TV tries to reach out and call home. It blocks it. And I've downloaded these lists that give domains for it to block. And so my TV tries so hard to try to contact and call home and say, here's what he's been doing with the TV, and it can't do it. Finally, after a while, the TV, it won't even show any of the apps anymore. And it just becomes a dumb monitor.
Wow. Now, can somebody set up a Google Pi-hole pretty easily? Shawn, did you set that up? Because I know that.
Well, it's not Google Pi-hole. It's just called Pi-hole. It's not
just
Google.
Pi-hole.
It has nothing to do with Google. It's actually anti-Google.
All right.
Yeah, I set it up on my Synology.
Yeah, me too.
All right.
So it just runs.
And is it easy to set up? Can somebody go online and get all the instructions how to do it?
You have to be you have to be familiar if you're doing it on a Synology with Dockers.
Yeah, but
and installing that way and configuring and understanding DNS and there's a handful of things you have to have a rudimentary understanding of. There are guides if you like watching YouTube videos and learning. Just watch a YouTube video on it and you'll be able to figure it out.
Yeah, it's not too hard. It's a lot easier if you actually use a Raspberry Pi because basically you can download an entire image, flash it to an SD card, pop that SD card into your Raspberry Pi, plug it into your network, and then just simply point all of your devices at that Raspberry Pi as its DNS server. Because a lot of people at home, they're using, they're likely using Google DNS, which again goes back to the adage we're talking about. Google's tracking you. Everything you do on your computer, every time you go and search for a website, it has to use DNS to try to figure out what is the IP address of that website. Well, if it's using Google DNS, it's saying, hey, Google, this guy's searching for, Kansas City Chiefs or whatever it might be, and it's going to start serving you ads based on that.
Now, if somebody's using an antenna, and I know that not everybody could do that, there's no way that they could be tracked that way, is there? If they've switched to an antenna mode?
If your TV is a smart TV, it can absolutely track what application you're using on your... Unless you've turned it to the RF tuner, but most of them have an app that you launch that goes to the digital tuner.
Right.
So it's still, your TV still knows you're watching. You're not changing it to channel 3 or channel 4, right? You're using the live TV mode. Of course, your TV knows that you're doing that. It's tracking how long you've been on each app, what app you switched from and which app you switched to. How long
What's
you
your
were on that app.
volume set at? What's your color correction? You know, are you set at the dynamic settings of color? Do you have HDR turned on? I mean, it's sending everything.
I'm a little older, so obviously I probably pump up the volume a
Got
little
closed
more.
captioning turned on.
So they could tell, oh, this guy's older. Let's pump him ads for,
Hearing aids.
yeah, or
Probably.
arthritic pain relief.
Yep.
That kind of thing.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Wow, exactly. The world revolves around commercialism. All right, we got to take a break. We come back with more of Tech Talk Radio. A big change was announced. People that relied on a way to get connected to the internet, not going to be able to do that anymore. We'll talk about that coming up with Tech Talk Radio. I'm Andy Taylor.
I'm Shawn DeWeird.
And I'm Justin Lemmy. We'll be on the web. You can find us there at techtalkradio.com. We'll be right back. All right, so before the break, we kind of teased upon this, but a major change is coming. And it's a little bit sad. It's a little bit nostalgic. AOL, the old internet that a lot of people used to use, but what was it back
America Online.
Yeah, like back in 1999, we had over 18 million subscribers. I used to work for America Online at the call center. They are now ending their dial-up internet service.
Wow.
And I think what they say at the end of September.
Yep. Yeah.
Who knew that Skype would be killed off before AOL?
Yeah. Wow.
Good point. Never even thought about that. They want you to use Teams, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just going to miss the, it's going to go down in history, but I'm just going to miss the old dial-up sound.
Oh, yeah. That's
Yeah.
screeching.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's screeching.
When
We used to
you
hate
go to
it, but
make a phone call.
now we all, it's nostalgic,
Well, I don't know about you guys with dial-up, though. I used to connect to BBSs, the bulletin board systems. And those were a lot of fun. Especially for us in morning radio, we had a BBS where we could connect, share notes, and do all this stuff. And that was a blast. But AOL was just a great way for your listeners to reach out and connect with you as well. But now, one thing to make sure of, AOL's not going away, and it has not gone away. Apparently, AOL's still there. I still have an AOL email that I checked the other day. It was like, so you still can use AOL. It just your dial-up. You won't be able to dial up into it.
So growing up,
Yeah.
you said you connected to a BBS, right?
Yeah.
My earliest internet memories are telnetting into a Luminet BBS,
Oh my gosh.
which they still are available. You can still get them. And I actually have a pet project that I'm working on that is building my own BBS.
Oh, wow.
Really? Like the old school BBS?
Yes.
Wow, that would be kind of cool.
I actually bought the domain from the original owners of it that ran the BBS in my hometown, and I've been talking to them, and we're in the process of rebuilding it.
So now, what would it be? What would you do with it? I mean,
I would host archival content from my hometown.
oh, now that's cool.
Yeah.
That is good. Now, a lot of people go on social media to do that, but this would be kind of nostalgic in a different way to.
It'd be a way for those who want to find it can find it. A creative way for people to get on the internet, search it out. If you're interested in this kind of thing, it's going to be a very niche thing, right? It's going to be,
Right.
but if you're interested in it, if you know about it, it's going to be a cool way to log in, see what it is, maybe have a conversation, maybe post some content, maybe back up some stuff. It's gotten some cool, I don't know. It's very nostalgic for me because, like I said, it's my very earliest memories of connecting to the internet. So
That's so cool.
Oh wow! The thing is, I was just stupid thinking a second ago, thinking, well, there's no iSupports anymore, because that's how we always. Is somebody talking?
My Google speaker just wanted to
oh
serve me an
my
ad.
god!
That was creepy.
Yep.
I heard it in the background.
I was like, wait, what was that? You turned around a little scared. It wants to participate in the show.
Yeah.
We were talking about Google. I was thinking, but there's no. You remember the internal modems we all had, 150 or 300 baud, but there were external modems. I wonder if modems are. Well, obviously, people are using it to connect to the net, to connect to AOL. Now it's going to go away. What are these people going to use that for?
So
Can
it's not
they
like
still?
AOL was the only service, right? There are other dial-up providers that have services still, but realistically, Starlink.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh.
it's a little bit more money, but it is significantly more reliable. They've only had 2 major outages over the last year and a half, 2 years, that have been resolved within 30 to 36 hours or so. So, I mean, realistically, that's your best option for a way better bandwidth.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean,
But,
there are other smaller local, a lot of like co-ops that serve like farm communities and stuff that will provide you with dial-up. But a lot of them, my mom lives in a very, very small town, a town of probably less than 1,000 people, and they actually have a local co-op, which means it's kind of owned by everybody, that actually provides cable internet and cable TV. So even in a small little town of like 1,000 people, that can serve that kind of area. But then when you go out of town, to a certain range, I don't know what their range is, then yeah, you're left with being on cellular internet or Starlink or possibly dial-up. That company does provide dial-up to some of the farm communities around, but it's not AOL.
And people forget too, as the providers jump higher to higher to like the 5G, those frequencies don't travel as far. So now you have more cell phone towers in shorter distances because you're trying to serve. It's like 1,500 feet line of sight from a tower that serves 5G ultra wide. So if you're looking to get that ultra high bandwidth from a cell phone plan, you're going to have to just accept that you're going to see more cell phone towers.
Now, I'm wondering, like, when we go with options, we all think about how we have gone on this internet thing. I remember moving from Coachella, California, to here in Tucson. I was so excited because we had, it was a faster connection, and it was so exciting. We're getting, right now, as I speak, in the front yard, my front yard's dug up because Wired is coming through and laying the fiber. I took a picture of the cables. I'll put it up on our blog of the cable line because they're all gone. So I took off one of the cones and took a picture of the cable line itself as they're fishing it up the street. I don't know. Is fiber going to be really something that I would say, okay, time to leave Xfinity and go with this wired fiber?
Absolutely.
I did it 1 year ago.
Right.
I left Xfinity. Metronet came around, put flyers on our door, said, in 6 months, we're going to have 1 gig service. Great. Perfect. It was reasonably priced. It was only $80 a month for 1 gig. That's really good. I was paying $65 for 300 up or 300 down, but God knows what my speed was up with Xfinity. And so I went with Metronet. It's been great. Maybe one outage since we've gotten it. The downside, about 2 weeks ago, they announced they got bought by T-Mobile.
Oh.
So don't know what that means for me. Am I going to be a T-Mobile customer now? Because I've been getting inundated with, hey, you now have T-Mobile because you have Metronet. Come buy our cell phones. And I'm like, I don't want T-Mobile because T-Mobile sucks because it uses AT&T towers, and AT&T towers suck around here.
Right. Yeah, I know T-Mobile has been in Green Valley. I know that's been one of the options for people. And that's the downside to these companies. We had actually was a different company completely that was going to first be coming in here. And then all of a sudden the work stopped because they were going up the street marking where they were going to be doing all the work, and then it stopped. And then about a month later it was announced Wired was taking it over. And that's the thing. You never know. They might come in and be there for a while. One thing you can say about Xfinity is that it's been there for a while. Now, their new ad campaign, I don't know if you guys have seen this, is, the Wi-Fi is booming because they're talking about that you have an Xfinity account and connect to Wi-Fi wherever you're at. Wi-Fi, Xfinity is my wireless provider now. I switched from Verizon to Xfinity, but now I don't know what's going to happen if I decide to go with this wired service.
Go ahead, Shawn.
I'm just going to say I caution against, I'm always skeptical about this, and I'm skeptical about that connect anywhere wirelessly because it's so shady, I think, because you never know what the access point is when you're connecting wirelessly. Yeah, it's an Xfinity access point, but some people's Xfinities in their homes, just like Amazon tried to do with Amazon Sidewalk, they allow people to turn on their access points so you can connect in areas that may or may not have wireless coverage. So you don't know where your data is going. Oh, it's protected end-to-end encryption. But you never know who's sniffing that. You never know who's looking at that.
You can go into your settings and you can say that you opt out, that you don't want to be able to share your connection. But either way.
But realistically, what users doing that?
Yeah, no, there's not a lot of people
I
doing
mean,
that.
that's a lot. There are some people that are like tinfoil hat and will go in and turn all that stuff off. But the generic user is not turning that off.
Right. Okay.
It's the
All
same
right.
thing. I don't agree with that. I mean, as soon as I heard that, Xfinity was doing that kind of thing where you can use everybody else's internet and be able to just connect to their internet, I just thought, nope, not a chance. I'm not letting somebody connect to my internet, because then I don't know what kind of stuff they're searching for. I don't know. They could be searching for illegal content, downloading illegal content, and then I'm going to be the one to get pinged for it because it was on my account.
Yeah, it was on your IP.
And it was on my IP. I'm not going to do that. Now, we talked about fiber just a little bit ago. I've had fiber for 10 years, over 10 years. We got fiber as soon as we moved into this house. It was from CenturyLink. But then just last year, CenturyLink spun off, and they divided their company. So CenturyLink, Lumen. Well, first off, Lumen.
Oh yeah, Lumen. Yeah.
Yeah, they went Lumen. So it was Lumen, and then they spun off Lumen to the commercial side and created Quantum Fiber for residential. So it's still the CenturyLink Lumen infrastructure, and their glass. When I say their glass, I mean their fiber, because fiber is made of glass. It's still their glass, but it's now through a company called Quantum Fiber. And I've had nothing but great luck with Quantum Fiber and CenturyLink. I've had maybe 3 outages in the past 10 years. So it's actually worked really well for me. So I like it.
Now, Matt, you're running fiber too, aren't you?
I am.
And how's your experience been?
I think, like Justin, I've had maybe a handful of outages in the 5 years I've lived here.
That's about it. Versus what you had before?
Versus what I've had before and in other places, it's just not been nearly as reliable. But CenturyLink and now Quantum, here where I'm at, the fiber experience has just been absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
Now, both you and Justin, you're in a major market, though. You're in a major city. Denver is, let's face it, it's one of the big cities. Is there one that stands out as far as a provider out of all of them? Justin, are you using that provider?
Well, I mean, that's in a major market.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Quantum CenturyLink is the biggest probably,
Right.
besides Xfinity. But again, for the fiber, I mean, Quantum doesn't really, Xfinity does not provide fiber. If you got Comcast Business, then yeah, you can get fiber. But I keep saying Quantum. Xfinity is their cable internet, and cable internet inherently is not the best because you may get great download speeds, but your upload speed is horrible. Because you're also sharing. It's just the technology. It's the technology of cable internet.
Sharing it. Yeah.
You're sharing it with everybody else, and also you're also sharing your download. So at peak times of the evening, you're not going to get the same download you would if you were doing it at 2 a.m. Whereas fiber, it's dedicated. It's dedicated up and down to each person, everywhere.
Now, as far as modems, where we're at right now with the technology. I remember, every time there was some kind of an increase, you gotta have this modem. You have the DOCSIS 3, DOCSIS 2. I mean, where are we at now? And then Ethernet. Are we in Cat 5, Cat 7 now?
Cat 8.
Wi-Fi 7. Where are we at with that?
So you've got Wi-Fi 7 is the new current Wi-Fi standard, and the big jump between 6 and 7. 7 was dedicated to just punching as much speed through as possible. So, I mean, looking at mine right now, I'm connected via Wi-Fi 7, and I'm connected on the 2.4 gig, the 5 gig, and the 6 gigahertz band all at the very same time. So I'm using as much as I can to get as fast as I can. According to my computer, which is breathing again for right now, I should be getting like 2.3 gigs up and down across Wi-Fi 7. Now, what I just read the other day, an article is even though Wi-Fi 7 has now been kind of finalized and the standard has been pushed out, they're already working on Wi-Fi 8, and the difference is 7 was just make it go fast. 8 is, okay, we've got the make it go fast down, make it reliable, make it reachable, make it powerful. So now we've moved from focusing on speed to on signal quality and signal penetration, which has always been Wi-Fi's downfall.
Right. All right, we got to take another quick break. We come back with Tech Talk Radio. I want to find out about, if we don't lose you again, your home lab and what that's all about and why somebody could create this and the reason behind it. With more of Tech Talk Radio, I'm Andy Taylor.
I'm Shawn DeWeird.
I'm Matt Jones.
And I'm Justin Lemmy. Send us an X at Tech Talk Radio. We'll be right back.
one of the big things when it comes to gaming, of course, was announced. It's gaming and fun. The Nintendo Switch 2, and I don't know anybody that got one except for Justin so far.
Yeah.
Wanted to get your thoughts.
Well, I mean, I was lucky, I think. I mean, obviously it came out and everybody, grabbed it off the store shelves right away. And I thought, okay, well, this is going to run the same way as it did with the PS5 and the Xbox, Series S and X, where I was going to have to wait, a year for it to come out. But I was actually running by a Best Buy one morning. I was on the way to work and I stopped in and I just said, hey, you guys got any Switch 2s? And they're like, yeah, we got like 75 of them. And I was like, oh, wow, okay, I'll take one. So I bought the bundle that came with the Mario Kart, and then also I bought the Donkey Kong game that was extra. So I think
I want to get that.
I think it was like after tax, it was like maybe like $610. I think it was. So yeah, I mean it was pretty expensive. But it was for Eric. He'd been begging for it. He's been wanting it so bad. He really wanted it, and we gave it to him, and he was crying, and he was so happy and wanted to play it, and yeah, he played it for like a day. And
really?
And then, well, I mean, he still plays it every once in a while, but he's still like, super hooked on, Minecraft and things like that. So it's like if I take him out to go play games or whatever, I'm like, hey, let's go over to Brews and let's play some games. You want to bring the Switch or you want to bring your computer? And he's like, computer. Every single time, computer.
Oh,
so it's kind of like, well, it's so, don't get me wrong. The Switch 2 is good. The screen is much bigger. The quality of the graphics much better. The controllers are much better. I like how they just click on now instead of having to slide them on and off. That's really good. The kickstand is obviously way much better. So overall, it's a great new system. I just think there's just as any new console that comes out, there's not a lot of games for it. Now it still does run the original Switch games, and some of the Switch games are actually run with increased resolution, like they're upscaled. But for the most part, most of the games are just kind of run at the standard thing. And they're coming out with some remakes. I mean, they're coming out with The Legend of Zelda, all the ones that were for the Switch, original Switch. They're like remaking them for the Switch 2. And I'm just like, that's kind of more of a gimmick. So I think it's going to be time will tell. Let's see what kind of games come out for it. I think Metroid Prime 4 is going to come out. I think there's going to be a new Smash Brothers. I think I heard a rumor about that. But as it stands, it's a good system, but there's just not a lot of games for it.
Well, the Donkey Kong one is the one, because I used to play Donkey Kong, the arcade game, and I loved it. It was the best one, going up the ladders, trying to get to the top and save the princess. And I've not found a stand up for that either. So just to be able to play Donkey Kong,
this is not the same kind of Donkey Kong that you would think. This Donkey Kong is more like Super Mario Galaxy. It's open world. You're smashing through things. You're smashing into, the ground, and you're digging your own tunnels in the ground. It's kind of like it's a different style of open world. It's very, very interesting.
Right.
I've never seen anything like it. You can kind of forge your own way through the level. You don't have to run along the beaten path as per se. You can literally punch your way through a wall and then connect up with the next part of the level way down the line. So it's kind of like this giant sphere inside of a game, and it's completely destructible in every sort of way, and you can just kind of complete the level how you want to complete the level. So that's kind of interesting about it, but it's a little bit confusing unless you know what you're doing.
Well, I know that you have to bounce out, but before you do, I wanted to tell you Turtle Beach made an announcement. I don't know if you saw this. They're putting out a budget headset for the Switch 2. Going to be out September 3rd. And I thought, oh, cool, right? How much is it going to be? $70, $80? $27.
What?
Yeah, $27. It's a wired headset. It's not wireless, but $27 to $28, making it very affordable. So you've invested the money in the Switch 2, and now you can have a headset to go with it.
That's awesome.
So that works out pretty good. Anyway, listen, well, hopefully you'll be able to join us next week, because I know you got to bounce out. But now we want to find out about the home lab. So, Justin, thanks again. And Matt, can you tell us about your home lab?
Absolutely, my wayward little child. I will be honest.
I've been called that before.
I have such a love-hate relationship with this thing at this point. Like, So back when I first started this, I was like, I'm going to use this as a learning experience. I'm going to repurpose old hardware, and kept going through iterations where I'd like get to a certain point, break the whole thing, have to restart. Like at one point I was like, I'm going to do this via Ansible and Terraform. It's going to work great. And
Right.
then I pushed an update that destroyed the entire open SSH stack across every machine, and I could no longer log into any of them.
Oh,
I was
not
like, all
good.
right, so we're going to start again. And I'm going through, and then I started realizing I was like, this one node is being really, really weird. And it was like a 10-year-old machine. I ran some checks on it, and it was dying. So the lab now currently consists of a Lenovo ThinkCenter Mini, an old Dell Optiplex. I got both of those off eBay. They're refurbished for really inexpensive. I don't want to say cheap, just inexpensive. There's an actual eBay store, the Nevada School for the Blind, and they refurb hardware and sell it out. And it's a way they make money, but it's great hardware at a really low cost. So it's those two nodes, and now a Synology NAS, Synology 923 Plus with 4 drives, 2 or 14 terabytes, 2 or 3 terabytes, 2 1 terabyte solid state drives for a pool, and 32 gigs of RAM. So I made this little box beefy. And the reason I did all this is because now I have gotten rid of all of the Nest devices in my house. I have replaced them with either Bluetooth speakers or Reolink cameras. I now have, living on one of those little machines is a Docker container running this cool program called Frigate. And Frigate ingests all of the streams from those cameras and saves all that data to my Synology drive. So it's kind of the equivalent of, the Nest monitoring. And I can access that internally or externally. And then my project for this week is I have a replacement for one of those machines coming in that's a bit beefier, along with, and these are really cool chips. They're really hard to find. They're Google Coral chips, and they're machine learning chips. And those will go into the new machine, which has kind of an antiquated GPU. But I'll be setting up an AI detection system. So the machine learning chips will handle, the GPU will handle decoding the frames from the streams.
Right.
And then those chips will actually use machine learning to identify like cars, license plates, people, faces, things like that. And Frigate will tie into Home Assistant and then push all those alerts to me. So
if somebody comes to your door that it recognizes, it would say, "Oh, this is your Aunt Betty coming to visit."
And because of how I have the camera set up, it would be like, Aunt Betty is walking up your front drive. Aunt Betty just rang the doorbell.
Aunt Betty just pulled a hatchet out of her purse.
Aunt Betty is
Aunt
working
Betty.
through some things with Uncle Joseph, and you should probably call the cops.
Oh, man. This is cool. So you're really training your own AI to do, so you're not counting on all these other experiences. It is Matt's AI.
Yes, that's kind of where we're starting with it. And then I was using ChatGPT as kind of my second brain, and I was like, hey, what else could we do with this? Like, I've got all this equipment. Like, how much farther can we push this? So I'm going to start installing my own LLM on there, my own large language model. Grab some of the open source ones, and I really want to drive to the original idea of a smart home. Like where you do have all these features that we have in smart homes now through like Google or Alexa or Apple or whoever. But I want to own all the data.
There you go.
And this all came about when I was upgrading the home network, and I installed a Ubiquiti Unify Cloud Gateway. And I looked at some of the stats, and I was like, how am I uploading 60 gigs of data to Google a day?
Whoa.
And then I looked, and I was like, all these Nest cameras are constantly pumping all that footage. I was like, and as soon as it goes up there, I don't own it anymore.
That's true.
And
Yeah.
there was a news article just the other day that came out that Ring said that they are just going to allow law enforcement access to footage that they hold without a warrant because it's their footage. Even though it's from your house and your device, the terms of service say that when it's uploaded, that's now their footage and they can allow access as they please. So they're going to give warrantless information as surveillance footage from all those cameras that they have to law enforcement. And the moment I saw that, I was like, not that I have anything to hide,
Right.
but no.
I've had law enforcement come to the house because I'm one of the few, I think, that has a camera system that is visible from the street. And they've come asking if they could look at my footage, and I mean that's something that law enforcement they want to be able to do that. So very interesting how that's going to work out. Now, has this been kind of a pain to set up? Do you get help in the coding on this?
So it has been a titanic pain to set up initially. The biggest change was honestly when I got the Synology in there. Their container management solution is very intuitive and made things a lot easier, especially with like intra-container networking was something I kept tripping up on. For the IT people, just remember, if it's not DNS, it absolutely is DNS. So I kept having DNS issues. But ChatGPT was helpful in walking me through some definite stumbling blocks. My YAML game for YAML files has definitely gotten a lot stronger. And just my general Linux and Docker knowledge, it's been a great learning experience. At this point, I've got a unified cloud gateway. I have a core switch. The whole house is wired Cat 6, Cat 6A. I've got 2.5 gig edge switches in 3 different places where I need wired usage. I upgraded the access points to Unify U7 Pros. So those all have a 2.5 gig uplink to the 2.5 gig switch. So that's the networking stack. And then I ran through the Home Labs stack earlier. But I basically have a small to medium grade enterprise setup in my house that's way overpowered for what I need. And tonight I'm going to install a Minecraft server just because I freaking can.
Oh, nice. Could you host your own server for outside connections?
Absolutely. There are several things that I've set up that I can access outside. One of them is I did set up my own Plex server. So that has been great. Hypothetically, one could use Usenet to populate that Plex server with material. Again, purely hypothetically. But I've got a couple of different programs that are all interconnected via API calls. So, if I want to, dump a file in somewhere, it grabs it from a monitored file location, renames it, moves it to the proper place, indexes it, uploads it to Plex. Like I've had a lot of fun, and there's a lot more that I want to still do. Grafana I'm gonna use Grafana to build a nice little dashboard. I've got a monitor set up there, but Grafana's mean, man.
Well, maybe if you get a chance, you could send us some links. We could share it on the blog if our listeners want to look more into this about trying it themselves.
Absolutely. And if you want, I can also throw pictures of physically how I've got it all set up. But yeah, I'll send links to the guides I've been looking at.
All right, quick break. We'll be back with more of Tech Talk Radio. I'm Andy Taylor.
I'm Shawn DeWeerd.
I'm Matt Jones.
And you can find us on the web at techtalkradio.com. We'll be right back. So I got a big question. Shawn, kind of the heavy gamer of the group. Shawn, open beta for Battlefield 6. Did you get a chance? Because I think you were going to try it. Did you get a chance to do it?
I did play it. I was a little frustrated on how I had to get it because, well, I could have waited, but everybody wanted to play Friday night. And the only way you could play Friday night was if you had early access beta. So you had to watch a Twitch stream for 30 minutes, which was, I think, is stupid, but it worked. I got my code. I played it. It felt like Battlefield 2. It felt like Battlefield 3. It kind of went back to its roots with the big games with the jets and the tanks and the... but it was fast-paced. I mean, I'm not good at first-person shooters. Everybody knows that. My friends know it. They just like it because they can beat up on me in the game. But it was fun. The matchmaking was good. The gameplay felt good. The graphics were good. I'm running a 3070, and I mean, I didn't feel like I had any performance issues, and the servers were stable the whole time I was playing, so that was good. Overall, it was a good experience. I mean, it was interesting to see today. They posted articles as to like the number one drop in post sales, or like because the number of people dropped off significantly after the beta. So they were like the largest 24-hour drop in player content on Steam as a meme, because it's funny because nobody had access to the beta anymore. So it's just kind of funny to see that.
It's going to be available again. Well, right now, as of showtime, the 14th through the 17th of this month, a second open beta. Are you going to be jumping in on that one, or you think, okay, will you be able to?
I'll definitely play it again because my friends are interested in playing it, and now that other people have it, there might be some other of my friends that didn't get to play it this past weekend that get to play it again. So I'll definitely play it for a little while, maybe 1 or 2 hours total.
Right. Okay. The other question I had for you, Shawn, being that you are the iPhone guy, big announcement. They believe Forbes has said that it's going to be very soon. They're going to announce the iPhone, the next one. Do you think at this point you'll be upgrading?
No.
No?
No, my phone serves me just exactly what I need. I don't need a new phone.
All right.
I just got the battery replaced in mind with you remember my whole fiasco with the cell phone and the SIM card and all that stuff. But the 13 does everything I needed to. I've got 512. I mean, I've got plenty of storage. The battery life is new because I just got a new battery in it. It was covered under Apple Care. The photos and videos are great. I don't shoot movies on my iPhone. I mean, there's going to be a big upgrade to the camera, my understanding. They're going to be putting a larger sensor in it, so some bigger lenses, so we'll see how that goes. But I just don't need a new phone, and I know it's going to be $1,200 because I buy them from the Apple Store. I don't buy them through Verizon because I want to own my phone. I don't want to be on some dumb plan. But,
right.
I mean, I went from my iPhone history, right? I went from an iPhone 4 to a 7 Plus,
right,
to a 13 Pro. So I've got at least 4 more generations to go before I get a new phone.
All right. Well, listen, that great information here, Matt, Shawn, Justin. Thank you so much. We'll carry over for next week with more of Tech Talk Radio. If you've got questions, send them in to us. We had some questions. We'll cover those next week on the show. I'm Andy Taylor.
I'm Shawn DeWeird.
I'm Matt Jones.
And you can find us on the web at techtalkradio.com. Check out our YouTube. You can watch this show right there on YouTube with Riverside FM. Have a great week.